All right, guys. First off, welcome to spring training. I want to give you guys an overview first off. When you guys put this uniform on, it's got to mean something. You know, I'm looking at Freddie and, you know, he was with another organization and he couldn't be happier that he's here with this organization and what it means. And Kyle left money on the table like Teo did a few years ago. When you're away, it makes you appreciate what we have here. There's reasons why Edwin Diaz wanted to come here because he's chasing a ring. You guys got to believe that you're the best option in every moment, in the biggest of moments. Evan, you're coming back. When you get back in the middle of the summer, you got to believe once you're ramped up that you're the best option in a big spot. Brock, you got to believe that too. And I told the pitchers about this earlier. Roki had a tough year early. He came back and sacrificed himself to pitch out of the bullpen, something he's never done, because he wanted to contribute and pick his teammates up and be there for his teammates. And he picked us up hugely.
Roki Sasaki enters year 2 with something to prove following a rough rookie season. A successful postseason out of the bullpen showed that he has the talent. Now the focus is clear. Rediscover his form and turn his potential into consistency as a starter.
You got to keep in mind, like, this guy was, when he was dominant in Japan, he was really, really dominant. And so I think the expectation coming here for him last year was that he was going to right away be a top of the rotation type guy.
So Sasaki having to do something he's never really had to do, and that is deal with failure.
Obviously, he was a great player in Japan, coming over here with huge expectations, and then not performing, not being healthy, feeling like he was letting people down, his teammates, his country, and that's a lot to bear.
そういうアメリカに来たことに対する後悔だったり、そういうところに対する思いはなかったですし、どこにいても自分のパフォーマンスが出せなかったら必要とされないっていうことだけは思いながら投げてました。
Roki Sasaki wanted nothing more than to come over and find the kind of success that Shohei Ohtani did and that Yoshinobu Yamamoto did. And to not have that happen immediately, it can take something out of you. And I think that was the pound of flesh right there that was being taken from him.
握りはこうで、その後まっすぐのこのラインに乗せ入れるように投げて、手を抜いてまっすぐのラインに入れて落とす。ちょっと忘れたっすけど、その時の見てた選手の握り真似して、あとは自分の感覚で投げました。
Sasaki's 0-2 pitch, nasty splitter.
Sasaki spent time in AAA Oklahoma City to find himself, though he struggled to find a rhythm. A drop in velocity while battling inconsistency and injury. Sasaki's 2025 campaign began to slip away.
でも正直自分のパフォーマンスが上がらない中で投げている時の方がすごくなんていうんですかね、フラストレーション溜まったので、しっかり怪我も治してフォームを固めるっていう、IL に入ったことでそこにしっかり時間をかけて、自分のパフォーマンスが戻るまではメジャーに戻れないと思って、やった分そのリハビリの期間はなんていうんですかね、苦しいっていうよりかはただ頑張りたいというか。
For everything to work out right, for him to come back and impact our club was very small. And so you got to kind of move on with the guys that you have. At that point in time, we just sort of wrote him off for the year.
When Roki got to Arizona after, having a couple of rehab outings and not seeing the velo where we wanted it to be, we needed to kind of get a sense of where he was at physically, mentally, emotionally, in all those aspects.
They went through what essentially was a full breakdown of Roki Sasaki's baseball life. It was trying to understand holistically who he is as a pitcher, and more than that, what they could teach him or show him that he might be willing to accept. Finally, I think he understood this is not okay. This is not who I am. And if somebody can help me figure out that version of myself again, I have to be open-minded about it. And finally, after months, Roki Sasaki was willing to learn.
Physically, he was in a good spot, mentally, emotionally as well. So it allowed us to really kind of hit the ground running. Within our conversations, I did a thing that I like to do as a trust-building exercise that I call the accusation audit. So essentially just pointing out all the things that, you know, maybe could go wrong or that he might think about me or just kind of put all the potential preconceived notions that he might have about whatever out in the open and really just say, hey man, I'm here to make you better, period.
良くなってからもそのパフォーマンスはなかなかこう戻らなかったので、そこはすごく苦しかったですし、ただこうより肩の状態が治ってから、技術的なところだけにフォーカスできたので、そういった意味ではこうすごく、今までにない時間は過ごせたのかなと思います。
There was just a couple things that were taking place that he wasn't necessarily aware of. My job was to essentially try to help him see the slight differences in what he was doing versus what he was thinking he was doing, and then go from there.
I think he benefited from the time away from the bright lights and away from the pressures that come with being a Los Angeles Dodger, and that he was able to really take a look at himself and say, hey, what's important to me and how do I go and find it?
So after we do all the work down here in Arizona and he goes back to OKC, we were pretty nervous. We didn't know how it was going to go, if it would translate to the game. That's always kind of the question mark, right? And honestly, from pitch one, I saw how he came set. I saw how his warm-ups looked, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think that's going to work.
その次の最後の先発の時に OKC で最後の先発の時に、いいパフォーマンスで投げるキャッチボールから良くて、試合でもこうある程度100マイル近いボールをずっと投げれてたので、そこである程度こう手応えというかそういうのがありました。
There was a calm killer confidence, I guess I would call it, that he had when it was like, oh, his body remembered that feeling and then his mind caught up to it. So he was able to get the velo out there, and then you could tell that he was like, oh, wait, I can do this again. And it was really fun to watch, just like the competitor come out as opposed to someone who was trying to still figure it out.
And you start seeing those 99s and 100s. And at that point, Dodgers have to ask themselves a question. What do we do with this guy?
Roki Sasaki up in the pen. So it looks like he may finish.
このまま、アリゾナで試合投げずこう来年まで待つのか、ポストシーズンだったり残りの試合でこうチームに中継ぎとして貢献しながら、来年につながるいろんな経験をできると思ったので、中継ぎで頑張ろうと残りのシーズンはそう思いました。
I think it was the wild card series against the Reds. We were in a big spot, and I just said, screw it. I'm going to pitch him. I'm going to throw him in the game, throw him in the fire, and he performed admirably.
The chance of Roki. Rain down ahead of the 1-2. Got him swinging!
And then that's kind of how it went into the division series versus the Phillies.
And a called strike three. Dropped the splitter on him.
And obviously, with the Brewers.
He kicks and fires. Strike three! He got him swinging!
Sasaki closes the door.
It's like two different people. Damn. Nice, rookie. Ooh, nice, Roke. Rookie's throwing the out of it right now.
Had he not come back at the end of last season and had the success that he did in the bullpen, I think this would be, a very different conversation. There's still, honestly, at this point, a very wide range of outcomes for him. You know, it's, I think from the organization's perspective, obviously they want him to succeed. You know, there is kind of this thing of, well, he's got to do it at the major league level.
You see, like, guys with leg kicks and all this, bro, mix it up. Because it doesn't matter. At that point, it doesn't matter if you throw a fastball down the middle. His timing is off, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
We're watching Roki Sasaki warm up right now. It's 3 days to go to opening day. Tonight he's making his final tune-up start of the spring. And it's been an interesting spring for Roki Sasaki. There's been moments he's looked good where he's shown some progress. The problem has been that he just hasn't been efficient enough. He's struggled to hit the strike zone. He's struggled to get through innings. He's been removed from a couple of his spring starts because innings started to spiral on him. And for all the potential that he has, the Dodgers really need to see him take that next step. So all along, even with the struggles he had this spring, he was always going to be in the rotation. The question now is whether he can take that faith, take a few of the strides that he's made during camp, and just be more consistent as they give him the ball every 5 or 6 days.
19 pitches already for Sasaki. Still no outs recorded. And it is outside, ball 4. 1-0 Angels.
そうですね。もちろんシーズンとスプリントトレーニングがまた別なので、そこはこうしっかり切り替えたいですし、ただこうしっかりこうスプリングトレーニングに出た課題を、こう一つずつ出して、潰していくしかこう方法はないので、こうスプリングトレーニングのこうですね、記録自体を忘れてまたシーズン新たなスタートになると思うので、そこはこう自分の悪いところがこう出たのがこうスプリングトレーニングでよかったなと思って、はい、シーズンはまたこう新たな気持ちで、やるしかないのかなと思います。
On pitch 9, Moncada takes ball 4. Another run comes in after another walk from Sasaki, and Dave Roberts comes running out of the top step to make a pitching change. 30 pitches, no outs recorded. Sasaki still searching.
He's going to start the fourth game of the season. You know, he's got to go out there and attack hitters. I'm not concerned. I just I know it's in there. I've seen it in big spots, and so the standard needs to be better. He knows that, we know that, and then now it's kind of go time and see what, you know, how he can perform, you know, when the lights come on.